Hi everyone, I hope you are doing well. I've been doing well also on my side. I know it has been a long time ever since I actually recorded a video for my YouTube channel. And what else can make me delay and stop for such a long time? It was motherhood. Motherhood was not allowing me to be part of you guys for the past 8 months. I have learned a lot. I've learned a lot. It's as though, I just started being a mother now, even though I've been doing it for the past 8 years. But the past 8 months taught me a lot. And I've been also going through a journey of self-awareness while I was away, a journey of self-awareness and healing, and also emotional well-being. I've been also journeying in this path of healing. As you know, that is the topic that I'm very, very interested in. And obviously, I love this kind of a topic because it makes one to live a fulfilling life where you are able to interact with the world with an understanding. So this is a topic that is very, very, very closer to my heart, and I'm sure it's because I always find myself interacting with people. I also find myself speaking, with a lot of people. And also as a leader, I feel like this is an important topic on this is the important journey that one needs to go through. I've also learned that if you're a leader and you cannot control your emotions, chances are even the team that you lead, it's going to be a very toxic environment, because most of the people even around will adopt that style, or will adopt that the way you manage and react and also do things, because they learn from a leader. Hence, this has to be one of the important part of a journey for a leader, part of a journey for somebody who engage with people in a lot of time. It also makes one to lead a fulfilling life, a life where you understand why people do things, you understand why you also do certain things, and you don't have to be judging yourself, but you understand it and live with people with grace, because you will get to understand why they react that way or the way they react. So, but today, I want to talk about how to regulate your emotions, how to manage your emotions. And before we can even talk about how to manage your emotions, we need to be able to then understand what are emotions. There is a lot of way we can use to explain what emotions are. But today I just came with this definition that says emotions are a complex of state of physiological and psychological we experience in response to various stimuli. So the stimuli will be the interaction with other people, interaction with your children, interaction with your co-workers, events that can happen in your life, and also your thoughts. Your thoughts can also be a stimuli to emotions. So this aspect of emotions can be physiological, like I said. So when we're talking about physiological, we're talking about, have you ever been to the state where you becoming angry? But what happens, it's happening in your physical state. You feel like your temperature is going high. Actually, your temperature just goes high immediately. Your high blood pressure just goes high. Your heart start to pump very fast, and you feel like you're shivering. It's because now the emotions are high. Now the whole body, the whole physiological part of you wants to react, wants to fight, if not to flight. So that is what happens when your emotional state has been stimulated by those interaction. So these various stimuli will influence various thoughts and behaviors in our lives, and also influences our relation, how we react and how we relate with other people. And that can be, if we're talking about behavioral, we'll be talking about your verbal and also non-verbal, having to find yourself rolling your eyes when someone has said something, or, frowning in a certain way, because somebody has said something, and, changing your tone. You've been speaking so nicely, and in 2, 3, 4, now you have changed your tone, and also body language. That's what happened when your emotions are activated. And this is normal, but we really need to be able to regulate our emotions. Why do we have to regulate emotions? So we do have different categories of emotions. We do have the basics emotion, complex emotions. We also have your positive emotions and also negative emotions. So today I'm talking more on the negative emotions, how to regulate your negative emotions. And why do we need to regulate those emotions? So we need to be able to regulate those emotions, because if we leave those emotions for a long time, it's either you suppress them for a long time, then it changes the environment to be a dull environment. That means wherever you are, the environment just changes to be a very dull environment, because the emotions are being suppressed, not controlled, because we still need to have them. We still need to feel the way we're feeling. It's just a matter of controlling how we behave when they come through. So if you leave the emotions not controlled, and those emotions are, maybe strong emotions like anger, raging anger, if we leave them for a long period of time, they become pathological. That is where you will develop maybe depression. It's because of the long-standing emotions that have been left unattended or uncontrolled for a long period of time. You then become anxious, and at the end of the day, you find yourself having to need pharmacological intervention, which is our drugs, so that you may be able to regulate the emotions. So it is important to start from scratch in terms of monitoring them and also regulating and managing them before we leave them for a long period of time. So, like I said, we've got different categories of those emotions. So in terms of negative emotions, if we don't manage them, if we don't regulate them, if we don't control them, this will be the symptoms. Number one, it will be raging anger, sadness and fear, an uncontrollable state. You just feel unpleasant, not happy, but in a way that it's not being controlled. Have you ever met, a person, maybe in the mall, you're doing shopping, and that person bumped into you, or you bumped into the person, and you receive all forms of vulgar words and all forms of names just by pushing, bumping, accidentally so, to a person. So, you are bumped, and all that you want to do is I want to kill this person, I want to hit this person, I want to call this person names, is because you are not able to control those emotions. So it end up, you end up going to the extreme, instead of first thinking about one positive, to say, what if this person who's bumping into me maybe is going through a lot, maybe the person is just going through so much, so they were not thinking, that is why they bumped into me. We tend to forget such possibilities. Then we have our angers and our verbal reaction becoming to an extreme, So today I've come up with just one way of regulating our negative emotions. There is a lot of way that we can use for us to be able to regulate our negative emotions. And that one that we're going to talk about today is knowing your emotions, knowing them. And that is what we call self-awareness. So you are aware, you have to become aware of your emotions. You have to know them as they happen and be able to identify them as they come. So if there is a feeling of frustration from the inside, immediately when it comes out, you are able to say to yourself, this is frustration. I am frustrated. I am feeling, I'm starting to shiver. My belly is starting to, to give me a certain sound. It is because I am frustrated and I want to take action. And when you name it to say, this is frustration, you also need to add the spot. You also need to be able to say, this is the cause of my frustration. I'm frustrated and it's caused by noise, because I really, really hate noise. So I'm one of the person whom, when a place is a mess, when I go into a place and it's a mess, things are just all over, shoes this side, socks that side, dishes this side, I become frustrated and I'll just be angry. I'll just be angry and, I want to be controlling everything that is happening. So the people who are around me will feel it, that she is frustrated. And as I was going through this journey of being aware of myself, being aware of my emotions, I go to a point where when the kids are making noise and the house is a mess, I just go like, there's no need to shout them. There's no need to shout them. You are just frustrated. And you're just one woman. You cannot do everything all together at the same time. So with my frustration, I need to decide to say, do I start cleaning? Or do I go and rest because I'm also tired at the same time? Do I shout at them? Is it necessary for me to be shouting at the kids at that time? So you need to get to a point where you identify your emotions, you know where they come from, you name where they come from, and recognize them, and also recognize your behavior as they change. As you start to shout, you need to recognize, to say, this is now the behavior that is being caused by the frustration that I am feeling, and identify the cause of that emotion. So this is the activity that I want you to go and look at yourself, to say, yes, there's frustration that always happen, but do you know the cause of the frustration? When you have figured out the cause of the frustration, then you are even able to regulate the behavior that will come with it. Now, what are the benefits? What are the benefits of emotional awareness? What are the benefits of regulating your emotions? So when you're able to regulate your emotions, you are also able to regulate or to improve in terms of self-regulating or regulation. And in this case, we are talking about in terms of, behavioral regulation. You are able to improve in terms of that. And also it also helps you make decisions that are wise. You're able to make wise decision if you are able to control and regulate and manage your emotions. That means your decision when the kids are making noise will not be to slap them. It might be to give them an activity in which you were not going to be able to do at that time, and they will do it joyfully. So I remember the other time I had to, frustrated as I was, I had to give a mop to one of my kids, and then the other one water, the other one broom, and I was like, clean this house. They are young, 8, 6, and 4 years. I'm like, now you can start mopping, and they were very excited. Before then, I was frustrated. I was not happy with how they are messing up the house. Then I was like, no, this is just a frustration, girl. Just try and find something that will make them to clean up what they have done, even though they are that young. We found ourselves in a very, beautiful and jolly space because of that decision that I was able to make after recognizing and realizing that, girl, you're just frustrated. You're just frustrated, not frustration. You're just frustrated. That is why you are like this. Now, with good management of your emotions, of your negative emotions, you are also able to build strong relationships. That is relationship in your workplace, relationship, marital relationship with your children as well, because you are able to manage your own emotions. You are able to build relationship with even other colleagues out there, because you won't judge them when they do even other things, because you get to want to be part of their life, because you understand that people don't just do what they do, so you understand your own emotion and also other people's emotion. This is what I had for you today, and I hope it found you in a very good space, and I hope this will be of help even into your life. It is very, 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 very important to be able to have self-control. I've also learned that even though you have got high IQ, but without emotional intelligence, we fail in our spaces. Remember what happened with Moses? Moses, when the Israelites were thirsty, when they needed water, what he did when God says, point onto that stone or that rock, he hit, because he was angry, he had to hit the rock instead of pointing as directed. He hit it because he was angry, because he was frustrated. So he could not control his own frustration. Then he had to, use his physical. So this one affected his physiological part. The reaction was more of physical, where he hit the stone. And what happened after what? He missed his destiny. Where he was supposed to go, he could not go. So sometimes, without being able to monitor or regulate our emotions, we even miss the important part of our lives, not because we are not intelligent, our IQ, correct, perfect, but the emotional intelligence will make you lose the important things in life. Hence, is one of the things that we need to monitor and we need to regulate. Thank you so much for watching.